Hello, hello guys. This is Dr. Argo Chatterjee, and this video today this is purely dedicated to the students who are graduating BHMS, who are thinking of starting their practice. This video is completely for them. So most of you guys have been studying during your BHMS curriculum, Allen's Keynote and Borix Metria Medica. You must have this with yourself. So apart from Metria Medica knowledge, what are the things which can help you in prescription of any drug in your clinical practice? I'm going to talk about that. This is not as a whole talking about any specific cases. This is as a whole as your prescription. Now coming to first prescription, through your knowledge during this whole period of BHMS, I am surely hoping that you can give the first prescription, first medicine of a patient based on the totality of symptoms quite efficiently, taking this into granted. If you are having any problems, even giving medicines in the first instance, we will discuss it later, subject wise, case wise, in following videos. But right now, taking into consideration that you have given a medicine based on totality of symptoms to a patient, now the main thing which comes after it is second prescription. Now we talking about second prescription, we are going to go for Kent's 12 observation, and we are going to go towards second prescription as said by Kent. Now second prescription according to Kent is always the prescription after the first prescription has acted, either favorably or non-favorably, but it has acted. How to give a second medicine? So you have learned the whole philosophical background of how to give a complementary medicine, a cognate medicine, and how to give antidotal medicine, all this kind of things. But in clinical practice, what you are going to face, this is I am going to discuss today. See, whenever you start your practice, whenever you have given some medicine to a patient, on the subsequent visit, you are thinking that the patient is very good, and you are thinking of keeping the same medicine. You give the same medicine and it has improved the patient even more. But after a certain time, because most of the diseases which we treat are chronic in nature, so in any kind of chronic diseases, it is not possible for us to treat a patient with a single medicine throughout his lifetime. We need to change medicines. You can understand that when you start practice. So when in coming to this change of medicines, that is the most, I think, problematic phase which occurs in a newbie. Even me, when I started my practice, had this problem. So how to solve that efficiently? You know about antidotal relationships, you know about cognate relationships, you know about complementary relationships, but many times it comes, you must know a few things like lachesis, nitric acid
are complementary to each other, right?
Okay, you can please check your Metria Medica for this. Again I'm saying Ignatia, Nux vomica are antidotal to each other, correct? Again, complementary wise, I'm saying Calcarea carb is complementary to belladonna. All good? Okay. Lycopodium is complementary to lachesis. Good. So these are the basic, there are many basic complementary antidotal relations which are in your head, but there are many medicines for which you don't remember the relationships because it is not humanly possible. With practice, you are going to start remembering more, because whenever you are applying something, you are going to remember it better. Just by studying or just by writing, you are not going to remember that efficiently, but with practice, you are going to remember it much better with time. So in this scenario, I am going to talk about something which is a very much handy and useful tool in your clinic. That is, you have read Borix Metria Medica, right? And please go to the relationship chapters of Borix Metria Medica. So there you will find most of the medicines, duration of action, how the antidotal relationship, the complementary relationship, and all the medicines that follows well. So what I want you to do is never open this chapter whenever the patient is coming for a second prescription. Don't open this chapter just like that. Take the whole case. see which medicine you are thinking it's coming for you, for the patient. Do that. After that, you go to this chapter. See, I've opened this chapter for more efficiency. See, now what you can do is, whenever you have searching for medicine, see, maybe you have given a patient belladonna. I'm going to start with the simple one. For acute phase, you have given belladonna. Now the patient has come with for a follow-up, and the patient, you are finding that the patient has got a desire for egg, there's more perspiration on the scalp, and the person is maybe a little bit of a chilly patient, or maybe a hot patient as well. You are basically finding out that person belongs to a calcarea carb constitution. So you know belladonna and calcarea carb are complementary, so you are prescribing calcarea carb. Now this is not needed in this kind of cases. Say I'm going to give you something a little bit different now. See, if you can open, let me just give me one moment. Let's open Allen's keynote, and we are going to go for complementary medicines of lachesis. Let's think of lachesis. Okay, so whenever we are talking about lachesis, complementary, HEPA serves lycopodium nitric acid. After lachesis, you can, in many cases, you can always see the patient is either going towards lycopodium or even going towards acid nitric. So whenever you are going through a case, you can just start, if after taking a brief history, after taking a subsequent follow-up, you can briefly describe this acid nitric after lachesis. Going to a more complicated section, and which we think basically that they are not so much complementary to each other. So just think of medicines like, say, staphysagria. Okay, let's go to staphysagria. Okay, after giving a patient for staphysagria for any of the reasons, based on mental or physical general, the next time he is coming, you are seeing a picture of natrum mur or say Nux vomica in him. So whenever this kind of thing is coming up, it is more better to refer to this relationship chapter. You can open up staphysagria and you can see the complementary section always says causticum and colocin. This you know. But if you see remedies that follow well section, you can see Nux vomica is included in that medicine list. So even after giving staphysagria, if you feel the person has a Nux vomica constitution, you can easily give that. Again, say one of the very contradictory remedies we are thinking of, Ignatia. Say for example, you have given a person Ignatia. Let's open up Ignatia for a better aspect. Okay, first of all, if you can open up Ignatia relationship chapter, you are going to see a relationship in Allen's keynote itself. You are going to see incompatible coffea, Nux vomica, tabicum. And after giving Ignatia, you are finding in a patient that the patient is indicative more of Nux vomica. Now after reading your Metria Medica, you are most probably going to think, no way you are going to give Nux vomica after Ignatia, correct? Because that's incompatible. So if you go to Ignatia in this chapter, relationship chapter, let's check. Complementary medicine is natrum mur, but if you can see remedies that follow well, you are going to see medicines like lycopodium, Nux vomica are in medicines which follows Ignatia very well. Though Nux vomica is also written in inimicals and antidote, but it is also a medicine that follows well. So in these kind of cases, whenever you are having a dilemma, this is the actual case which I wanted to show you, that in these kind of cases, when you are having a dilemma that you know something is completely antidotal in nature or inimical in nature, and the medicine you are coming out is basically that medicine which is inimical, refer to this Boric relationship chapter. It can help you a lot. Even so, whenever you are going to a remedy which is not even in this relationship chapter, let's say after any medicine you are coming up, the second medicine which you are thinking of has got no relation with any of this, neither remedies that follow well, complementary or remedies that follow well. What you can check is that if this medicine has got any antidotal relationship or not, antidotal or inimical relationship or not. If there is such relationship, I'll say go through the case again. But if you find it is not in a, it is still indicating this medicine, I'll say go for it. You can easily prescribe medicine according to a current totality. It might be something which is antidotal to the previous prescription or inimical to the previous prescription, but it is going to do good to your patient when that medicine is you are giving on the base of the present totality of symptoms. Okay, so this was for that. And second thing, for younger generations, I would like to add one thing. Whenever you are treating a patient, diagnosis is very much important, prognosis is very much important, but whenever you are searching for a medicine, keep diagnosis, keep prognosis aside. I'll repeat myself. Whenever you are selecting a medicine, whenever you have a medicine you have selected, whenever you are selecting, don't think about the diagnosis of a patient, don't think about the prognosis of a patient. Prognosis you can think of, but what I mean to say is don't think of the diagnosis. Because most of us, when we are starting practice, what happens is that we have read a medicine from Allen, from Boric, and few other books as well. What we tend to think is that many medicines are not being covered as a sphere of action of this medicine. But the main problem is that we are not reading the source books. Whenever we are going through the source books, you can find there are so many symptoms, even for the many symptoms we don't know about a medicine. But if we are finding a keynote of a medicine, it is you can easily prescribe, and that medicine is going to act well even if it is not written in Allen or Boric. Please understand that no matter what is the pathology, you can prescribe on the present totality. That is more important than anything else. I'll give you a personal example for myself. In my case itself, few years ago, I had a recurrent it was not an aptha or anything, but it was a constant itching sensation in my tongue. So I was itching it with my teeth. That is what happens. So, and the only amelioration I got from this itching only decreased when I inhaled air through my mouth like this. This always gave me very much relief. So after taking few medicines for thinking it's an aptha, I tried Maxol. It did not give any relief. I tried acid benzoic. It did not give a single amount of relief. But after that, I tried to talk with my senior, and my senior suggested my senior suggested also these remedies, but this did not work. But I knew from studying Matria, this amelioration by inhalation of air through mouth. What is the medicine? Guess. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The medicine is Mesareum. You have read. Definitely you have read this remedy. It is whenever there is a toothache relieved by inhaling cold air, you think of Mesareum. Correct? I hope so. Going through this, since I did not have a toothache, so I was thinking this is not Mesareum, would not cover my case because I don't have any toothache. So I asked my senior, I am not having any toothache, but this is a particular modality I feel whenever I am drawing in air through my mouth, it is giving me much relief for some time. So my senior also agreed with me, and that was one of those times when I again realized that whenever dealing with any case, a symptom is more important than its pathology. So I was suggested even by my senior when I asked, can I take Mesareum, though it has got no sphere of action there, what I have read till now, but would it act for me? My senior also suggested there's no harm in taking this medicine. Take 1 or 2 doses. I took Mesareum 30, and I can tell you this, after taking 2 doses of Mesareum, this symptom did not recur in me after from that time. It has been 2 years. This has been my personal experience. And even so, when treating any complicated cases, this is the first major setback in the in people who are beginning like us. Whenever we are getting a complicated cases, always we are thinking, we are trembling in fear ki how can we tackle this. We are always thinking of referring it to a senior. But if you don't treat, then you can never learn. I can tell you this. First, whenever the patient is coming to you, he is looking for treatment. It does not matter if you're senior or junior. If you can treat them properly, then it is your credit. So when any kind of complex pathological case comes to your clinic and you have got no idea, you are feeling ki I have not treated this case ever in my life and I don't know what to do, just take a good case, see what are the symptoms, make a totality of the symptoms, and whatever the medicine is coming to your mind, that is the best simillimum possible. This I can in this matter, many people are going to be disagreeing with me. It's because it is a thought process. We are in Kolkata and I'm based in Kolkata, so my basis of prescription has always been based on keynote prescription. If you go towards West, the type of prescription which is given, it is more repertorial prescription. It is equally very good and definitely it is a very good way of prescription. But one of the things which limits it is that you need to have a proper base here in the keynote in basic symptomatology. Then you go for repertorization, because even if when you have learned about repertory, you must have read that from many of us masters that repertory should be used where the knowledge of Materia Medica, your knowledge of Materia Medica is not sufficing you. Then you need to consult repertory. So at the first instance itself, I would not suggest whenever you are starting your practice to repertorize every case. Repertorize it after giving medicine. See if the medicines which you have given, it is more accurate towards the repertory or not. After giving the medicine, you start repertorizing. Don't do it before giving, because repertorization in a computer, it is a more of a mechanical process, and a mechanical prescription is not so good. Even my friends, my teachers, and many of the scholars from the western side of India, they are going to agree with me on this thing, that any prescription which is mechanical in nature will never do any good to any patient. So start organically, think organically, and treat your patients with more confidence whenever you are starting your practice. There are always going to be hiccups throughout your way, throughout your journey, but it does not mean you have to stop. If you have to stop, you only need to stop to think a little more clearer. Think on it and go ahead. With this, I wish all the younger generations of doctors, upcoming doctors, and those who started their practice a very good and fruitful journey ahead. And I hope this I have tried in my perspective to help out. I myself have been practicing for 5 years, and I have been under one of the very great teacher. I have been under a very great teacher myself, and I have been in contact with many great teachers. A teacher is very much essential, but what I have learned, I can only spread, because knowledge in concise is never going to do good. Spread the knowledge and it shall increase. With this, I'll take your permission to leave, and I hope you can utilize this knowledge in your practice to make it better. So this is